Hello there, my name is Matthew Vandeputte. I've been a professional time-lapse photographer for the last 8 years, and today I'm teaching you how to create a stop-motion animation on your Lumix S1 full-frame mirrorless camera. I highly recommend watching the other 3 videos in this series as they will give you the basics of time-lapse photography. Some of those principles will be used in this video. A stop-motion animation is very similar to a time-lapse sequence. We're shooting a series of photos and we're turning it into a high-resolution video file. The difference with the time-lapse though is that the camera chooses to shoot at a fixed interval, whereas with a stop-motion it is up to us, the animators, to tell the camera when to shoot. This is because we're animating by hand. Some frames take longer than others to complete, so working with a fixed interval really isn't ideal. It's up to you, the animator, to tell the camera when to shoot the next shot. Just like with a normal time-lapse sequence, make sure that your camera is set to manual mode, make sure you're shooting raw photos, and make sure that all your settings are fixed, so ISO, white balance, shutter speed, and aperture. Make sure that your camera is set to the dedicated time-lapse and stop-motion mode. Also, very important when shooting animations is to make sure that your lighting is consistent. If you're using natural light from the window, when the sun moves, your angle of light changes, your shadows change, and if there's any clouds, you'll get very inconsistent lighting, resulting in a less than desirable sequence. Choose your composition and a subject to animate. You want to make sure that you are comfortable because you'll be seated in this position for quite some time. Click the menu button and select stop motion animation as opposed to time-lapse shot. The first menu item you can select is add to picture group. This means that you can just pick up where you've left off. Turn auto shooting off, as we will be deciding when to shoot. If for some reason you decide to turn it on, this means that the camera will shoot at a fixed interval, just like a normal time-lapse. Half press the shutter button to go to live view and shoot your first photo. You won't see anything out of the ordinary here until you move your subject. As you can see, there is now a low opacity overlay of your previous photo on top of the current live view. The camera will continue to show you 2 previous photos in that low opacity overlay, which is great because they're really useful reference points for your animation. You'll be able to animate in a much more consistent manner, and this is quite similar to how professionals do it as well. By the way, if you don't want to keep reaching to your camera and you're maybe in an awkward position, you can use the Lumix Tether app and connect wirelessly to your camera to trigger it from your phone. Once you're done animating, hit the play button to process your sequence into a video file. I recommend, for the highest possible quality, setting your rec quality to 4K 25 frames per second, and for the frame rate I recommend either 10 or 12.5 frames per second. This gives it that nice stop motion feel, and it means that you don't have to animate as many frames as it's not playing back as fast as a normal time-lapse. And that's it for the stop motion. I hope you enjoy that. Don't miss the other videos in this series, which is all about time-lapse photography. My name is Matthew. Thanks for watching.